What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video I have several quite interesting news. As usual, some of you might not like this, but I have to admit that well, if you want to know more about this story, you have to watch my videos and to make your own conclusion on all of these details. So, and before we dive deep into all of these, guys, if you want to know more about technical analysis, if you want to enhance your trading skills, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my Patreon account. And guys, this is the post that I wrote on January the 30th. It is a public post that you can find on my Patreon. It is pretty much all trade alerts that I made from December the 1st to January the 30th. These are the results of these alerts. You can see that all of the trades were in profit except this one on December 19th. TRWV hit a stop loss order and we've lost about 1.33% on this trade, but all other trades are in green. That is why you can use these trades in your personal trades as a part of your due diligence. So guys, you've seen many of my trade calls, all delivering strong returns in just hours. Now it's your turn to trade smarter. Join my Safe Haven Patreon tier, built for traders who want consistency, structure and real results. You will get a detailed plan to protect your portfolio, monthly one-on-one Zoom sessions with me and private Discord access with all trade alerts, lessons and exclusive updates. And here is the best part. If you don't earn more than your subscription price within 30 days, you will receive a full refund, no question asked, as long as your trading account balance is at least $2,500 and you've taken all the recommended trades during the period. No excuses, no fine print. You profit or you don't pay. Join today and let's start building your edge in the market. So, and let's begin with some tweets that were written by Junk Savvy. By the way, just recently she was a host of another space call, and it was again quite a long space call of almost 4 hours. I didn't have time and I don't have time to listen to this podcast, but well, some people might like her narrative and might learn something new about this case. Let me show you this tweet that was written by Junk Savvy. Highlights from the MMAT bankruptcy hearing. Peter Fontaine arguing on behalf of Citadel and Virtus motion to quash subpoenas. One is a question that is unanswered to this day, is why they need information from Citadel Securities and from Virtu. Answer: because you are effing market makers who executed 70% plus of the transactions. Seriously? And from Anson? Answer: maybe because Anson admitted to NBH they are short MMTLP NBH and needed to buy 10 million shares. Maybe that's it? Yep, that's probably it. Wait, isn't 10 million is more than 2.65 million? FINRA? And why do they want to know whether our client caused a spike? Because they want to name us as a defendant in the lawsuit. Translation: Your Honor, if we give them the data, they will sue us. Tell us you are guilty without telling you are guilty. MMTLP, MMAT, TRCH. So guys, I have to admit that it is quite interesting statement, but can we rely on the data from Anson? It is another question, and let me show you this. Roman Soups wrote this tweet basically several days ago. He said, Bingo, opinion. Georgie and friends are expecting charges before June. Will SEC just stick with taking away officer and director rights, or do they want to go for more on MMTLP, where people infamously died because of the frauds? Time will tell. Can't wait. And he refers to the tweet that was written by Puzzled Raccoon. And let me show you this tweet in details. So he wrote, MMTLP, here's some info about that Canadian lawsuit that George Parkers was referencing. It is a lawsuit where Anson sued the publishers of the information. One defendant already has $450,000 judgment entered against them. It's not the way George Palkers is portraying it at all. I'm sure that it hasn't escaped the attention of the attorneys involved in the bankruptcy. That Burda quoted and disseminated the rumors about Anson from this exact website, which is the source for his allegations as best we can tell, and so did Junk Savvy as soon as their posts came out, and that Burda has quite the history with Wes and his naked short war, and promoters with histories of securities fraud like Gary Valinotti. If anybody knows any of the attorneys involved for Anson, Citadel or Virtu, pass this along in DMs in case they aren't yet aware. And guys, well, I have to say that a lot of facts are pointing to the actions that were made by John Burda and George Palkers, and we know that there is an active lawsuit against them. I don't want to tell you that they are guilty, but we have to see the answers to several questions. One of them is why did they promote NextBridge Hydrocarbons and MMTLP merger, and they told us about the oil and gas assets in Orogrande Basin. And guys, allegedly they knew that it is just empty lands with literally zero of oil and gas, and in this case we have to ask them why did they do it. And here's here's the statement that was written by John Burda himself, and he wrote on December 11th of 2022. MMTLP got a private message from a shareholder expressing our position as MMTLP and NBH shareholders. We all hold together $3.2 billion of oil that the world desperately needs, and 500 million shares of NBH authorized that the shorts desperately need. Think about that. So it was some kind of statement that he tried to calm down the MMTLP community with this information, and definitely, guys, at that point he knew about these assets, and he had to be 100% transparent, at least with his answers. When he was asked did he sell any shares, he said that he didn't sell any of his shares. At the same time, he sold already a quite substantial chunk of his position. On top of that, let me show you that a lot of people, well, first of all, I want to pay attention to George Palkers' tweets, and here you can see the tweet from Dennis Neal, and he's back to he's back to Twitter, and just several, I believe, weeks ago he was blocked, and for now he's back, and it is good to see him, but unfortunately he didn't do any updates in regards to MMTLP case. But guys, I want to pay attention to several more tweets. Again, Anne Vanderstoel didn't post any updates on MMTLP case. She just pointing to other issues for any other conspiracy theories. But you know that a lot of people are expecting to see some payments, and some of you might anticipate that FINRA should remove the U3 halt, and they should unlock the liquidity. You can see that John Forster wrote this. Question for the MMTLP community thought leaders. Is there a way to roll up MMTLP into another public entity to unlock liquidity for retail shareholders who are stuck? And Ocelot made a very clear answer. MMTLP doesn't exist anymore, but what MMTLP represented interest in NextBridge Hydrocarbons is a 12G reporting issuer. They could trade at any time if they obtained a QSIP from Global QSIP Services, and the illiquidity and other perceived issues would be solved. And guys, this is 100% correct. If Greg McCabe decides to unlock NBH shares and to make them publicly tradable, he can do it easily without any problems and with less than, I believe, $1,000 of fees. And he doesn't want to do it because he knows that as long as this situation is in limbo, he's pretty much safe, and he already sold some of his shares for more than for 48, I believe $48 million, from 40, let's say, to $60 million. We don't know the exact numbers because we don't know the exact moments where did he do it, but we know that it happened at the highest prices that was achieved by the MMTLP shares back in November of 2022. And guys, if you want to see that, if you want to see the shares of NBH tradable, just ask Greg McCabe, and he has to answer to you because you are an NBH shareholders. Unfortunately, he doesn't want to even make any type of communications with his own shareholders. We didn't see any of shareholders meeting from NextBridge Hydrocarbons. From time to time he publishes PR statements and well, he promises something that he never deliver. And I covered this in my previous video, and unfortunately it is sad truth about this story. On top of that, guys, here is very interesting conversation and very interesting question that was asked by, I believe, Puzzled Raccoon, and you can find the link to this conversation in his Twitter account. The question is, what could happen if a spin-off of assets to a separate company distributed to shareholders was determined to be fraudulent conveyance of assets? And the thoughts are following. If a corporate spin-off where a parent company transfers assets to a new separate entity, SpinCo, and then distributes SpinCo's shares to the parent shareholders, is later determined to be a fraudulent conveyance, also called a fraudulent transfer, the transaction can be unwound or clawed back under US law. And here's I want to pay attention to another question. How might this apply to MMAT, TRCH, and MMTLP? And the answer is following. The MMAT, TRCH, MMTLP situation is a real-world and a highly controversial example of the kind of spin-off and distribution structure we discussed, and it carries many of the same fraudulent convenience risks, especially now that Metamaterials is in Chapter 7 bankruptcy liquidation. So, and right here you can see the explanation in details, how it might be applicable to MMAT case. But another very important question, how would that affect individual shareholders of NextBridge? And the answer is following. If a fraudulent conveyance or fraudulent transfer claim was successfully brought and won by the Chapter 7 trustee in MMAT's bankruptcy case, or by creditors pushing similar state law claims, it would primarily target the 2022 asset transfer from MMAT or its predecessor structure to NextBridge Hydrocarbons, followed by the distribution of NBH shares to former MMTLP shareholders. Individual shareholders of NextBridge could face significant direct and indirect impacts. Here's how it could play out. It could play out based on standard application of bankruptcy. And there is several cases how it can happen. And guys, to be honest, the more I see this type of conversation with artificial intelligence, the more I think that this story is extremely shady, because we can clearly identify that the wrongdoers are not only authorities, but the board of directors itself made a very controversial, let's put it this way, statements and actions back in the day, and their actions led to a lot of, led to the situation where a lot of people were trapped in this story. And if you invested in MMAT or MMTLP because of these oil and gas assets, guys, you have to ask this question to the board of directors. Why did they spread this information about the enormous value of these assets? In my opinion, it is a pure fraud, but in this case we can rely on the investigation that is ongoing right now against George Palikars and John Burda, and depending on the decision in this investigation, and it potentially might happen within the next several months, we can go forward and we can push it to another milestone that potentially will lead to at least some kind of resolution. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life, I'm crazy, I'm mad.